Hey guys, Jonathan here with TLD. Hope you guys are doing well. I am back with a very interesting unboxing to say the least. As many of you guys are aware, we're still about a month, maybe two away from the release of Apple's upcoming iPhone 6, but right here in front of me, I have a fully functional iPhone 6 clone that even says iPhone 6 right smack on the box. Just gotta give it a little shake and bake because this box is fighting me on getting it open, but I really found this interesting because if anybody has seen my good buddy Michael's The Detroit Borgs unboxing, his actually came in an iPhone 5 box, so I was pretty surprised when I saw iPhone 6 stamped on the side. So taking a look at the back, you can see it's very consistent in terms of what we've seen so far compared against the dummy mock-ups leaked earlier this year. The big difference here being obviously it turns on and it functions. So because of those similarities and a few production parts that have leaked recently, I think it's fairly safe to say that this is essentially what the iPhone 6 will look like, give or take. I also just received a handful of iPhone 6 cases from Spigen, which may or may not add credibility to the whole leak and mock-up design, but regardless, if you guys are interested in checking those out, let me know by hitting that like button. Now, spoiler alert, this may look like an iPhone 6, but as far as performance goes, it is not snappy at all. It's sadly actually a massively underpowered iOS skinned Android device, essentially. If you compare it to the iPhone 5S, for example, you can see in terms of performance on Geekbench, it gets absolutely destroyed. But what's interesting though, if you look at the specs on paper, they're actually pretty close. They're both dual core, they're clocked around 1 gigahertz, but I think this is a testament to not only Apple's performance hardware-wise, but software as well. So continuing on with the unboxing, because there actually was content and accessories which I found amusing, the first thing up is a quick start guide, which says hello right smack there on the front, just like Apple products. But if you dig a little bit deeper and look inside, the most hilarious thing that stood out to me is those are iOS 6 screenshots, so yeah. Next up, and I'm willing to bet these aren't authentic, probably earpods and more white color stereo bass headphone mic volume control remote earphone earpods headset for iPhone, but nevertheless, at least alongside your iPhone 6 clone, you get iPhone 6 earpod clones. Following that, we have the USB wall charger hanging out there wrapped up all nicely and such. This really isn't anything too spectacular, but at the very least, you can charge your iPhone 6 clone. Next up after that is the USB wall charger's PIC, the faux lightning cable, and alongside that is the SIM ejection tool. Now obviously I'm not going to bank on the light cable being authentic either, but at the very least it was still pretty cool that they included the entire package like you would get with an iPhone. So now that we've blasted through the unboxing portion, we can dive in and dig a little bit deeper into the clone. I think obviously the big noticeable difference aside from the screen size increase is the complete aesthetic change from the iPhone 5S. No longer on the back side will we see those glass portions on the top and the bottom like the iPhone 5S, be replaced by what I would assume to be aluminum by the final production model. That is kind of sectioned off by the dual line design on the top and the bottom where presumably the antennas would go. But I think that kind of makes the iPhone 6 design look eerily similar to the HTC One M8, and if you agree or disagree, let me know with a comment down below. One thing I do want to point out that I do not like, and it's been consistent across the dummy mock-ups, is the fact that the camera on the back side of the iPhone 6 clone pops up. So to me, that would make it very vulnerable to scratches, something similar to the iPod Touch. I know it's probably going to be sapphire coated, but at the very least, why would you want to increase chances of damaging one of the most important pieces on your phone? You can also see different aside from the iPhone 5S, the Apple logo on the iPhone 6 clone is actually indented and recessed in there, much like we saw on the iPad mini with Retina display and iPad Air. Now another big difference between these two is the actual power and sleep wake button. On the iPhone 5S, it's located on the top right hand side, whereas the iPhone 6 clone is located on the actual right side above the SIM card tray. Now because the iPhone 6 will presumably feature a larger 4.7-inch display, I think the power button move makes sense on a device like this. The volume rockers also look like they're getting some sort of makeover on the iPhone 5S. We have those classic circle Apple volume rockers up and down, but on the iPhone 6 clone, those look very similar to what we see on the iPod Touch again. Now as far as whether I like them, dislike them, I'm kind of neutral, but I definitely say the increased size makes them a little bit easier to hit. So like I said previously, this is a fully functional device, but one big difference between this and the real upcoming iPhone 6 is there is no fingerprint Touch ID reader on this clone. So that of course on this device means you are limited to swiping to unlock your phone. Now when I said this thing was not a performer, I meant it. It is extremely, almost laughable laggy, and I almost want to go out kind of your average consumer style and go kind of bring this to people out in public and kind of get their feelings on how it performs, maybe even see if they notice the apparent lag compared to a current iPhone or even Android device. And if that's something you want to see, definitely let me know. So like I also previously talked about, this essentially is an iOS skinned Android device, and bits and pieces of Android creep out here and there. For example, if you hold down the home button, normally where you would get Siri on an iPhone, on this you get Google Now, which to me is a kind of an upgrade, and I would prefer if I could do that on an actual iPhone. One thing I did notice, and again if you did watch Detroit Borg's video, it is extremely hard to access the control center on this iPhone 6 clone. Sometimes it almost feels impossible, but I actually got it down almost to a science where if you hold your thumb right there between the bezel and the screen, and then you slide up, you can feel it vibrate, and then you can nail it every single time. Now I know I'm gonna get tons of questions of where can I buy this, and I wanna tell you with a giant warning sign, do not buy this for anything more than purely entertainment. This particular one you can pick up on Chinese websites from anywhere from 160 to 200 bucks. I know as of August 1st, Goophone will be releasing their clone version of the iPhone 6. But honestly, as you can see from
have the sleek, incredible curved lines that convey a real sense of power, of passion, of...
iOS 8 on the iPhone 6 is incredible. It's unlike any experience you've ever experienced. It's bold, sleek, snappy. It's unapologetically more like Android.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
Is that's
you know how much money we spend in the marketing department for thesauruses?
We used it. We used it for the plastic last year.
It doesn't matter.
Nobody likes a broken screen. You may have heard of Sire, but we went past that. We worked with our engineers to combine some of the best materials you can find in Minecraft.
Ever since we partnered up with Timmy and the boys at Apple, working tirelessly to get Beats Audio in the new iPhone. And I think we're close. We're really close.
We want you to know that we care about the environment just as much as you do. And that's why the iPhone 6 is BPA free, PVC free, TLD free. The shit's probably even gluten free.
How many more ways can I say this? I said great, I said amazing, incredible. It's incredible. The phone is incredibly great. It's super, super good for the first time ever. We did it again.
The ports on the iPhone 6 are beautifully machined. The lightning cable, you can plug it in any way you want.
They told me they moved the power button from the top of the phone to the side for the first time. That's pretty dope.
The new custom chip we designed for the iPhone 6 is significantly faster. I'm not even gonna tell you how fast. You're gonna buy it anyway.
One of the best things about new iPhone is the way that it interacts with the new software as well, iOS 8. Apple provides a very seamless user experience, unlike those fragmented platforms that exist on the market. I won't name any names. 1 second. Give me a second. I'm looking for something spicy, you know?
Are you serious?
About what? Do chicken wings. Tell me who doesn't like chicken wings? Just give me a second. What's the problem? Oh, I love the iPhone. The iPhone.
This new iPhone is one of the thinnest phones I've ever seen. It's almost as thin as the iPod Touch, and that was dope. So this brings it to a whole new level of dope.
No. Nope.
Dude.
Nope.
Hey,
I'm done.
Where are you going?
I'm done.
Come here.
I'm saying we do the same thing every year.
It's different.
It's over.
It is
I'm
different.
done. I'm done.
Dude, here.
I'm done. Call my agent. Call my agent. I'm out.
Can you believe it?
Was a protruding camera lens where if you would lie your phone flat on the table, it's gonna wobble around like crazy. And now there's third potential problem, and that is the possibility of a 6 Plus actually bending. So we're here to find out if a case is a solution. So a lot of people have actually been reporting that this problem started with their front pocket. So I got my buddy Austin No Pants Evans,
who's wearing skinny jeans right now, and we're gonna go ahead and put the 6 Plus with the case in my front pocket. Now it might seem like a pretty easy test. However, I've actually broken a phone, it was the original Moto X, in my front pocket before. Mind you, it was with go-karting, but with some really extreme sitting, see how it goes.
Before I have Austin sit down, I just want to quickly show you guys, this is the Spigen Tough Armor for the 6 Plus, and the whole point of this is to add some rigidity to the 6 Plus, so hopefully we'll be able to prevent that bending. As you guys can see, if we bend this a little bit, it's going to add some pretty solid housing to what is obviously not so solid on that aluminum.
I think the extreme sitting is done. Phone looks pretty decent. I don't see any major damage to the case, so let's pop it out and see what it looks like. No, I don't see anything. Looks pretty much untouched. So, looks like my extreme sitting wasn't quite extreme enough.
So now I got my buddy Judner, aka Quentin. We're moving on to round 2, which is gonna be even more extreme than extreme sitting. This is the back pocket test, which we were surprised to learn a lot of people actually put their phones in their back pocket.
The iPhone 6 is a pretty sketchy phone to throw in your back pocket, but since people are doing it, we've got to test it out. Yeah, heard a little crack there. Hopefully it's just the case.
A little scared to check that out. I heard
That crack, I don't know.
there's no cracks to the screen.
No,
Let's go ahead and
case looks fine.
peel it out. Hopefully, my heart dropped a little bit at first. Well, either way, it looks like it has survived test 1 and 2. So now we're gonna go to the extreme tests. So earlier, if you missed it, Lou from Unbox Therapy started this entire bend craze, and I was genuinely curious to see if a case would solve. If you did miss his video though, I'll have it linked down below. But now we're gonna recreate that bend test, but with a case and see if it solves the problem.
Oh, yeah, it's bending sure.
Hey, that didn't sound good.
I'm really sorry about this, but I can't take any requests.
I'm
right
sorry
now.
too, Siri.
Please try it.
I'm sorry too, Siri. That's about as hard as I could possibly bend it.
I'm really sorry of this, but I can't take any requests right now. Please try again in a little while.
Okay, Siri. So we're gonna take it out. That was painful. That was painful. And I'm thinking not even case solved it, just from taking it out of the case. I mean, it's not actually, okay, if we look at it, that's not terrible. It's not as dramatic as Lou's video. And I was going as hard as I possibly could. So you can see there's definitely a little bit of a bend, but for a fact, it definitely, like, at least adding a case will remedy that to some extent. It's not gonna permanently fix it or be the end all be all, but it is gonna help that. So there you guys go. It's not gonna 100% the problem, but I think for everyday situations, not all of you guys are gonna Hulk smash or try to bend the crap out of your phone. It's gonna provide the protection that you need. And I'm actually teaming up with Spigen to give away 50 of these, because either iPhone 6 or 6 Plus. And you guys can win one by checking out the link below. I'll have a slew of different iPhone 6 and 6 Plus cases. All you gotta do is go find out which case you want, come back in the comments, tell me which one, then I will select 50 random winners. Aside from that, if you guys have any questions, everything will be recapped in the description. Thanks again, this is Jonathan with TLD, and I'll see you guys later.